But worse are the persistent rumours that she's not a mum and never has been. Just when the difficult Duchess wanted all the talk of her fake baby bumps to fade away, along came a so-called friend to turbocharge the conspiracy theories. Now the trolls have gone into overdrive with their firm belief that non-mother Meg was never pregnant, and the childless Sussexes continue to subject the world to an extraordinary hope.
Silence everybody and just produce a DNA sample or proof of delivery. If you had those things, it would be very easy just to put them out there and say, this is what happened.
What if the biggest royal scandal of the decade didn't leak from palace walls, but from a secret hospital room halfway across the world? For years, whispers followed Meghan Markle like a shadow. Rumors that she was never really pregnant, that the royal baby bumps were nothing more than props in a carefully staged fairy tale. Most people laughed it off as wild conspiracy talk, until now. Because out of nowhere, an anonymous woman has stepped into the spotlight with a claim that could flip the royal family tree upside down and strip Prince Harry and Meghan's children of their precious titles overnight. She says she didn't just carry Archie and Lilibet, she's their biological mother. And the happy royal parents image, just a script, paid for, and locked behind ironclad non-disclosure deals. If even half of what she's saying is true, this isn't just another Meghan Markle tabloid moment. This is a full-blown constitutional crisis, the kind that makes Buckingham Palace lose sleep. So buckle up, because this rabbit hole goes deeper than anyone's ready for. And once you hear what this so-called surrogate claims to have in her hands, you might never look at the Sussex fairy tale the same way again. Long before anyone heard the name DL, the internet was already buzzing with a theory that refused to stay buried. It started with paparazzi shots, Meghan's baby bump appearing to fold when she bent down or shift oddly on camera. Some chalked it up to camera angles. Others weren't so sure. Royal fans dissected every clip, every photo, every public appearance. Was it just an ill-fitting dress? Or a sign the Duchess of Sussex was never really expecting? Gossip forums turned into amateur investigation units, sharing slowed-down videos and side-by-side comparisons of bump shapes from one event to the next. Mainstream media rolled its eyes. The palace ignored it. Meghan and Harry brushed it off as cruel, baseless speculation, the price of living in a royal fishbowl. But every time the rumors seemed to fade, another folding bump clip would resurface, reigniting the debate. The so-called fake bump saga became royal gossip's biggest urban legend, until now. Because suddenly it's not just online sleuths fueling the fire. A living, breathing woman is claiming she's the missing piece of proof everyone's been hunting for.
I'm going to leave it all up to you to decide what is what. Have we found the real father of Lily and Archie, or the real mother? What is going on? Because the documentation and the laws that I'm going to show you pertaining those two children, it raises even more questions than provide answers. And on top of that, it seems that the surrogate for Lily has been located in Colorado.
She calls herself DL. No last name, no photo, just 2 letters and a promise to blow the lid off the Sussex family fairy tale. According to DL, she wasn't just a surrogate behind closed doors. She claims she's the biological mother of both Archie and Lilibet. Not a stand-in womb, not a hired secret, but the real parent who carried, delivered, and then disappeared under a mountain of legal threats and promises of hush money. She says she kept silent for years, trusting the royals and their legal team to keep their side of the deal: privacy, protection, and a life far from the spotlight. But now, fed up with being erased from the narrative, DL is ready to talk. She's not just talking, though. She's teasing documents, hospital records, financial transfers, NDAs with signatures from names that will supposedly shock everyone from Windsor to Hollywood. If her story holds even a shred of truth, every staged photo op, every birth announcement, every tell-all interview Meghan and Harry ever gave about family life is suddenly up for debate. The question is, who is DL really? And why step forward now, when the stakes couldn't be higher? Anyone can spin a wild story, but DL says she's got more than words. According to her, the truth lives in the paperwork she's kept hidden for years. Hospital discharge forms, blood work results, private surrogacy agreements stamped with lawyers' signatures. And the most explosive piece? Alleged non-disclosure deals tying her directly to Meghan and Harry's inner circle. She claims these receipts prove she wasn't just a hired womb, but the true biological mother, one who was paid off to stay silent while the world swooned over royal baby bumps and carefully staged photos. DL says she was promised money, security, and above all, privacy. But in her words, she got betrayal instead. Now, she's threatening to go fully public with everything. Documents, bank transfers, and names that could drag high-profile royal staff and Hollywood insiders into the mess. If she does, it won't just be YouTubers and gossip bloggers picking this apart. Constitutional experts, royal historians, and legal analysts will have no choice but to weigh in. Because if any of this is true, it flips the narrative from harmless rumor to high-stakes cover-up, and the receipts might be the match that lights it all up. For the average celebrity, secret surrogacy wouldn't cause more than a few raised eyebrows. But this isn't reality TV, it's the British monarchy. And in this world, bloodline is everything. Every royal birth is supposed to be crystal clear. There are age-old protocols for how heirs are born, announced, and recorded. It's not just about family pride, it's about the line of succession, the centuries-old chain of who sits on the throne. If that chain is ever proven fake or tampered with, it doesn't just damage a reputation, it shakes the monarchy's entire foundation. That's why DL's claims, if real, matter so much more than just tabloid gossip. If Meghan never carried Archie or Lilibet, if the births were hidden behind closed doors with no official record of surrogacy, royal lawyers could face a constitutional nightmare no one has planned for. Think about it. What does it mean for Archie and Lilibet's titles, their inheritance, their right to be in line for the crown? These aren't just kids in cute photo ops, they're part of the royal future. And now, one woman's story threatens to rip that future wide open. And the silence from Buckingham Palace? It's only adding fuel to the fire. Because the longer they stay quiet, the louder the questions get. And DL says she's only just getting started. Silence can speak louder than any royal statement. And right now, Meghan and Harry's silence is deafening. Since the moment DL's claims began bubbling up, the Sussex camp has said absolutely nothing. No denial, no legal threat, no carefully crafted press release to stomp out the flames. For a couple so quick to sue tabloids over half-baked headlines, the hush is suspicious, and people are noticing. Then there's the birth certificate drama, a detail conspiracy hunters keep dragging back into the light. Remember when Archie's birth certificate was quietly edited? Meghan's full name vanished, replaced only with her royal title, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. At the time, the palace waved it off as a minor formality, but with DL's allegations swirling, that edit suddenly looks like more than a royal quirk. It looks like a clue. Why hide a mother's legal name if there's nothing to hide? Why keep every detail of both births under tight wraps when the royals normally parade new babies outside hospital doors for the cameras to see? Each unanswered question leaves a gap, and DL's story slips right into those gaps like it was always meant to be there. The longer Meghan and Harry keep quiet, the more people wonder, what exactly are they protecting? And what would happen if the truth came out? If DL is telling the truth, one chilling twist flips the script completely. Prince Harry wasn't some clueless husband shielding his wife from cruel rumors. He may have helped write the story himself. For years, Harry's been painted as the wounded spare, the rebellious royal trying to protect his family from palace politics and ruthless tabloids. But if he signed off on a secret surrogate deal, if he knew exactly who carried his children while the world watched Meghan's baby bumps with fascination, then he's no innocent victim. He's a co-architect. Insiders have always whispered about Harry's intense need for privacy, how he raged against the press for wanting a peek at Archie's birth. There was no traditional photo op on the hospital steps, no quick announcement outside the famous Lindo wing. Instead, there was secrecy, confusion, a carefully controlled reveal on their terms, and only their terms. At the time, fans cheered Harry for standing up to royal tradition. But now, those same choices look suspiciously like they were covering up a narrative no royal advisor could have untangled if they tried. If true, it doesn't just tarnish Harry's family man image, it cuts to the heart of royal trust. Because if the prince once called the people's spare knowingly misled the public about something as sacred as royal bloodlines, what else might he have kept buried? And what happens when the truth can't stay buried anymore? So, what happens if DL's receipts hold up? If even a shred of her paperwork, hospital records, or NDAs checks out, the fallout could be unlike anything the modern royal family has ever seen. We're not talking about a mild scandal that blows over in a few tabloids. We're talking about questions that cut straight to the throne itself. Because if Archie and Lilibet weren't born of Meghan's body, and no legal surrogate arrangement was disclosed to the crown, royal lawyers would have to confront a constitutional puzzle with no easy answers. Could their titles be stripped? Could they lose their spots in the line of succession? Would Parliament be forced to step in? These aren't soap opera hypotheticals. They're the questions constitutional experts are already debating in hushed interviews and private reports. And what about the wider royal brand? The monarchy that has spent the last few years fighting to survive scandal after scandal? A confirmed cover-up about something this fundamental could destroy what little trust remains. The worst part? If DL really does have airtight proof, the Sussexes won't be the only ones under fire. Palace aides who signed off on the birth certificate edits, royal advisors who turned a blind eye, all could find themselves dragged under the same spotlight. A single surrogate's bombshell could rewrite the royal bloodline, or at least force the firm to do damage control like never before. But behind the titles, legal jargon, and centuries-old protocol, there's still a family. And insiders say the pressure is tearing Harry and Meghan apart from the inside. Friends whisper that Harry is unraveling, haunted by guilt, paranoia, and an anger that grows the longer he stays silent. He's not the calm Duke once praised for escaping royal chains. He's described now as restless, volatile, and torn between protecting his children and shielding himself from the backlash if DL's story sticks. Meghan, meanwhile, has gone radio silent. No Instagram selfies, no carefully staged charity photos, no tell-all interviews dropping bombshells of her own. For a woman who built her brand on being heard, her silence is speaking volumes. Some say she's regrouping behind closed doors, plotting the next move. Others claim she's terrified that one wrong step will give DL's allegations more oxygen than they already have. Either way, the Sussex image, the glossy fairy tale of the royal rebels who broke free, is starting to crack under a weight they may not have the power to control this time. And the deeper this goes, the more the question shifts. Not just is DL telling the truth, but what will Meghan and Harry do if she is? Because the receipts are coming. The rumors are roaring back to life, and the silence that once protected them may be the very thing that tears it all apart. So, here we are, standing at the edge of what might be the biggest royal curveball in decades. An anonymous woman says she's the real mother. Receipts could be days away from dropping, and two royal children's futures, titles, inheritance, even their place in the monarchy, hang by a single fragile thread. If DL is bluffing, this will fade like every other royal rumor. But if she's not, if her claims hold up under the world's microscope, then Meghan and Harry won't just face another PR headache, they'll face a reckoning that could follow them for the rest of their lives and echo through the royal halls long after they're gone. And the wildest part? The palace silence only makes it louder. No denials, no explanations. Just a growing shadow where answers should be. And an internet that never stops digging? So what do you think? Is this just another desperate conspiracy? Or did Meghan and Harry gamble everything on a secret they could never truly hide? Drop your theories below, because if DL really does have what she says she has, the next chapter is going to be even darker than the last. Stay tuned, because we're not done yet. The receipts might surface tomorrow, next week, or next month. But when they do, we'll be here to break it down piece by piece. Until then, keep your eyes open and your tea hot.